There's a strange place we all reach on the path of growth, where the effort is real, the progress is real, and yet deep down, we know we're still holding something back. It isn't failure, it isn't laziness, it's more subtle than that. It's the mind convincing us that movement equals momentum, that routine equals evolution. And the truth is, sometimes the hardest ceilings to break are the ones built from our own progress. Because when you are doing better than you were, it's easy to believe you've gone as far as you can, but you haven't. Growth doesn't end when you improve, it begins when you refuse to settle for better and start reaching for what's possible. So I've noticed a pattern within myself, and it's not a breakdown or a crisis, it's just a quiet drift. I keep my routines, I set the alarm, I journal, I ground, I meditate, I keep creating. The structure stays strong, and that's where the illusion comes in. Because structure can look like growth, and movement can look like progress. But sometimes the discipline is there while the depth is gone. The routine continues while the intent fades. I'm still showing up, I'm still checking the boxes, but that spark in me softens a little bit. And the work, it shifts from becoming to maintaining. And it's not failure, it's not collapse, it's just a plateau. And that plateau is easy to defend because it's built on movement instead of momentum. And when it gets quiet inside, when I stop long enough to listen, that's when my gut starts saying, hey, I'm here, what's going on? It starts checking in with me and forces me to check in with it. It doesn't shout, it doesn't judge, it doesn't shame. It's just truth. That I'm moving, but I'm not moving where I know I can. And that's where the real choice lives. Comfort or calling. Routine or intention. Progress or transformation. I'm not here to maintain. I'm not here to just repeat. I'm here to grow. I'm here to grow honestly, deliberately, consistently. Not beyond my limit, but beyond my excuses. Hey, and welcome back to This Tree and Me. I am Corey J. Riggs. I am greatly appreciative of you all being here with me. So today's episode is called The Illusion of Progress. Not the illusion of work, not the illusion of effort. The illusion that movement equals momentum. And that improvement equals transformation, because I think many of us get to a point in our life where we recognize we're doing more than we ever have before and we're growing. But privately, there's something in us that's still telling us you're still settling. You're not getting to where you are capable of getting. And it's not shame. It's not comparison. It's not judgment. It's just honesty. So tonight, I want to explore that space between better than before and not yet who I could be. Let's talk about the progress that comforts us and the progress that actually changes us. So I've been thinking about this and trying to name it and trying to understand it a little bit better from the standpoint that it's been very easy to look back and recognize. In the moment, it's very difficult. But to look back and recognize that as I grow in any way, shape, or form, pick a wellness, physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, all of it, right? Pick one. And let's say I'm going to therapy and I feel I'm doing well and this and that. Well, then I just keep going to therapy, but I stay around the same subjects and topics. I don't start digging deeper and exploring the ones that I know are holding me back. Because the illusion that the ego creates is, hey, dude, you're in therapy, you're doing well. You can talk about your finances, you can talk about your physical fitness, you can talk about vices that you have, overeating, whatever. And as soon as you start making progress in any one of those, the ego can kick in and say, hey, you're doing great. Just keep doing this. You are perfect where you at. Right? And that's the part of the ego that's the hardest to recognize. The other part of the ego where it's negative and self-doubting and judgmental and angry and all that, those are easy. And those are the easy ones that we go back and say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't know why I was so angry about this, or I do know why, or whatever it is. You can always go back and recognize those and take a breath and be like, man, that's on me. My fault. Even to yourself. But when it's progress, why would the ego stop you from making progress? Let's really think about this. Why would your own ego, which let's be very clear, your ego is you. You built your ego. Your ego is built from your protection models, from your fears, from your accomplishments, from everything that you have had in your life, from however you want to believe it. Some people believe before you're born, right? But let's just say, to make it simple, from the day you came out crying and screaming to today, your ego has built security and safety mechanisms to keep you safe. And we think of all those in a negative connotation most of the time because we can see those a lot easier. Again, we can see when it's being negative and bad, and or we're scared of something, so we're gonna throw darts at something just to shed light on, look how bad they're doing over here, so no one looks at what we're doing here. But why would it stop you from becoming better? Why would it stop you from healing? Why would it stop you from becoming your best self? Let's break that down a little bit. Most people, myself and most every average American out there, or person out there, not that it doesn't have to be American, has a fear of vulnerability, has a fear of judgment, has a fear of self-doubt, shame. Something in your life along the way has given you one or multiple of those, and others. There's many others. So when do you get those? Well, when someone's doing better than you, or when you are doing something alongside somebody and you want to pull them down and make yourself look like you're better than them, or whatever the case may be. Maybe they got the partner you wanted, or whatever it is. That's where all that little stuff starts showing up. Even one of the most crazy ones that people want is joy. Joy is extremely vulnerable. To be purely happy and joyous and free of just judgment and just, I don't care, I'm happy, I'm joyous. That's extremely vulnerable because you're completely wide open to love. And when you're completely wide open, people can hurt you. You're very open to it. You're vulnerable. So it protects you knowing this. Okay, what did it take for you to get better? What did it take for you to heal? What did it take for you to succeed in the area of life that you are working on right now? How hard was that road? What did you have to do to get there? Did you lose friends? Did you lose family? Did you lose a job? Did you put yourself out there and make big blundering mistakes, but eventually stumbled your way through it? And you took criticism and you took judgment, not only from others, but from yourself. Mainly from yourself. So the ego wants to say, all right, we got here. You're good, man. Let's not go through that again. Let's stay right here. Right? So you buy into it and you listen like, yeah, look how good I'm doing. And that is a perfectly defendable thing. And that is a very easy hole to get swallowed in. It's real. Because you can look back. Like I can look back right now. I can look back a month, 6 months, a year. Keep going. But let's just stick with a year. I can look back a year ago and really see like I was just getting out of being a complete mess. Especially 3 years ago before I started my weight journey. I can also look back a year ago and say, you know what? I was getting in my spirituality. I was working. I was journaling. I was this. And look at my journaling now, and look at my writing now, and look, now I'm doing the podcast like I said I would. And now I'm trying to write the book like I said I would. And now I'm building many relationships like I said I would. So I can legitimately get sucked into the illusion that I've made it, that I'm there, that all I got to keep doing is exactly what I'm doing now, maintaining, and I'll continue to get better at the rate that I did. And that's a falsehood in every sense of the word. You have to lean into it, and it doesn't stop. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't take a break and breathe and look back and say, damn right I did well. And you damn right I'm proud of myself. I am extremely grateful. I am extremely proud. I love myself more than I ever have in my life. And at the same time, it's also okay to look ahead and look at that hill and be like, oh, good God, that's a long way to go. But then you can look back again and say, look how far I've already came. Is that much further? Can I just keep going? Because progress never stops. True progress never ends. True progress is a consistent, continuous journey. But the ego will bring that illusion in that you're there. Maybe you make your first $1 million. Oh, I'm there. It's going to be easy to keep making this. Maybe you found the love of your life. Oh, my life's perfect. The dream house. Pick something. Look at me. I made it. That's the illusion of the ego. That's the illusion of progress. And it's very easy to get sucked into. And it's just a two-voice battle, right? It's the true calling when you close your eyes and you listen inside and you meditate or you pray and you just quiet yourself to find the answers and you hear those, and you don't have to close your eyes and do all that. It comes to you when you're just doing the right thing in life, when you're following your path, when you're following your rhythm, when you're in flow, right? But I'm just giving the example so we can really fine tune it a bit. But when you listen to yourself, you know the difference between the calling that's telling you, hey man, you need to do more, or you're capable of more, or hey, how about we go down this path and see what that's like, compared to the ego that's like, hey, you don't want to go over there, man. Look, that's craziness. If you do that, you're going to lose this. If you do that, these people aren't going to be your friends. If you do that, you're going to lose your loved ones. Whatever it is. And it's also going to look and say, hey, look where you've come. Look, you're here. You've got all this back in your life. You're doing all this good stuff. Why would you want to risk it and take that next path? Why would you want to do that? It's not, like I said, it's not negative. It's not judgment. It's not shame. It's literally yourself telling yourself from what you've taught yourself for all those years of, hey, ego, protect me from this because I'm scared. Hey, ego, protect me from this because I don't like being vulnerable and I want to just be a part and I want to belong. So don't let me take risks. Don't let me step out on a limb. Don't let me tell that person I like them. Don't let me take this new job. Don't let me start doing a podcast. Don't let me start whatever. You've taught your ego. You've trained your ego. You've trained yourself over years and years and years of work. Not all work is positive. Not all work is good. But you've trained yourself, and you've believed a lot of those stories, and you needed some of those stories. Some of those stories, you wouldn't be here today, or you wouldn't be the person you are today if you didn't do those protective things when you couldn't handle the life you wanted at that time. There's things in your life you're not ready to handle. So those protectors are real and they are needed. But you also have to listen to the calling of when they're done, when it's time to move on and it's time to stretch. And it's very difficult because the ego is just like, man, I'm just doing my job. You told me to do this, bro. Where are we at? Why do we want to change? Why do we want to risk all this? So it's the constant two voices. And you want to try to make them get along. You want to figure out a way to listen to the negative voice of being like, okay, why did I create you? Why are you a part of me? Why did I create this portion of my ego to protect me or safeguard me or keep me in this area? Why? And then you can build a little list from it and say, okay, these are the things that I protected myself from. I recognize the feeling in my body, wherever it's at. Now I can start identifying it and getting ahead of it and get out of that illusion. But the illusion of progress, guys, is such a tricky one, because you would never believe that your true self isn't doing it, but you would never believe that any part of you would not want you to become better. And you, going back to the true self, you would not believe that your true self couldn't override your ego. Your ego is strong. Your ego is stronger than any other part of you, because it's been the loudest for the longest. That can change. I'm not saying that's permanent. That can be rewritten. That can be repaired. That can be understood a completely different way, because there is nothing stronger than your truest self. But there's also nothing harder and takes more courage and is scarier than becoming or doing what it takes to become your true self. That is hard. Staying with the illusion, staying in your ego, that's easy. I'm going to dress like everyone else. I'm going to fit in this little group. I'm going to go to this little job. I'm going to do this little thing. I'm going to say the right things. I'm going to do all this, and I'm going to live my life. And then I can prey on the human side and say, I make mistakes. I'm angry because of this. Or, this family member did this. My dad did this. My mom did this. My aunt did this. Whatever you want to say, whatever your story is that you tell. And I'm not here to tell you what stories to tell yourself. That's for you to figure out. But you can change those stories. I promise you. I'm working very diligently on changing a couple, and it's very close to where I can see the other side of it, and whatever happened in the past, that's exactly where it should be left. Doesn't mean you forget about it. Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean that it didn't shape you into the person you are today. But you can view that from a whole different aspect. You can take past traumas, past tragedies, past negative anythings, and turn them into now I know what it looks and feels like. How can I help other people avoid having that? Or first off, how can I stop doing it to myself, making myself relive it? How can I stop treating other people negatively and blaming that for the reason that I am an angry person or whatever it is, and change that whole viewpoint? You can create a new illusion. An illusion is an illusion. It's not real. It's based off of myths and sleight of hand and mind tricks and things like that. You can change the illusions and the stories in your head. You can create new ones that are positive and forward moving and helping you get to where you want to be. But I've struggled for a while with understanding this illusion of progress. And it took me a while to name it. Because I like naming things. I like to be able to identify it so I can talk about it and I can talk truthfully to it and about it. And it's the illusion of progress. And I get it all the stinking time. And I don't feel that I'm alone in this. And it's okay. Once you start recognizing it, then you can change it. Because as creative as your mind is in a protective, negative from that ego side, if you can teach your mind to do that, don't you believe you can teach your mind to do the opposite and tell yourself how good you are and how worthy you are and how capable of love you are, and you can do hard things, and even though it's scary, I can still walk through that fear knowing that it's not going to last forever. I can get through it. And if I fail, I fail. I tried. Failing is not the issue. It's the fear of failure that's the issue. Once you admit failure is not the end, that failure is not death, that failure is not the end result that you can never recover from. Once you just admit and come to the realization and the understanding that all I'm afraid of is failing, failure becomes nothing. How many times have you failed? Are you still here? Are you still kicking? Are you still moving? Do you have a chance to change that? But it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. So it's not failure that gets you. It's the fear of failure that keeps you from even trying so you can fail. But you'll never get to where you want to get to until you start failing. You got to try. You got to get the courage. You got to get past that illusion of progress. You just got to push through it. Because you're not failing. You're just not. You're trying. And you're stretching. And you're reaching. And you're trying to find who your true self is. And I had a great talk with a young man today that I used to coach that I'm helping through some things. And I told him, I said, at the end of the day, when your day comes, and I told him, because he's young, I was like, by the time you get to that age, they're going to have technology where you can be 150 or whatever. But whenever your day comes at the very end, you know who goes with you? You. That's it. Nobody else goes with you. So you might as well start being happy now. You might as well start living for yourself now. Because the people that are attracted to you are going to be attracted to you for who you truly are. And the older you get and the older I get and the more lessons that I've learned, the more people, the more times that I've changed and adapted and the ego has set in and said, okay, hey, if you want this person, if you want to be in this group, if you want to date this person or whatever it is, you've got to look, act, and speak a certain way. Instead of, hey, you know what? That's your path. This spirituality path, this wellness coaching path, this podcasting, this writing. This is your path to help people. This is your path to you and your best self. Follow it. Chase it. Whoever wants to come along can come along. And if they don't, you know what? In the end, it's going to be me and me alone anyway. So you might as well be you and attract the people that want to be you with you. It sounds so easy, but it is very difficult. It truly is, but it's so rewarding. And I would love to say that there is, like, let's say you're wanting to lose 50 pounds. You can see that end target and you can get to that end target. With this, You don't get to see the end target. You don't get to see the end. You just have to have the faith that when you do the right things and you follow the right path and you get out of the illusions of negativity and the illusions of progress, that your life will become what it's supposed to become and you will live an absolutely beautiful life. And every day I get a little closer. And this morning was a big wake-up call. This morning was such a reminder that just keep doing it, man. I know you're struggling right now. I know you're having a hard time. I know you're finding it difficult to not get the rewards now. You want the immediate gratification. You want the immediate, look at me, I'm doing all this work. Why the hell is my life still in the situation that it's in? Why is my life not masterfully changed to this beautiful manifestation that I can see? And if you get stuck in that illusion, that's the negative illusion. And then there's the other illusion of, man, look where I was and look where I am now. I'm good. I can rest. I can just keep doing what I'm doing. I can maintain this. And then little by little, things start falling off. And then where do you end up? In that negative freaking illusion again. It's a cycle. And this morning was a very good breakthrough for me to where I recognized if I do the work that I have studied and put myself through the daily grind of learning what makes me feel good, what doesn't make me feel good, ridding myself of the things that don't make me feel good to do more of the things that do make me feel good. If I just do that, I have a beautiful day like I did today. So, change your stories. Change your illusion. Celebrate your successes. Celebrate your growth. Celebrate your journey when you're doing well. But understand that celebrating is not complacency. And don't allow it to become complacency. Celebrating is looking back to see where you came from and looking where you still want to go and understanding that the two shall meet. I'm going to keep going further away from where I was, and eventually I will get to where I want to go. And then where I want to go, I can extend that, because if I can achieve that, what else can I achieve? But I have to re-emphasize, you're not failing. Don't ever put yourself in a negative judgment of failing. You're learning. Everything's about learning, right? That's the old coach. We never lose, we learn. A friend reminded me of that the other day, and we've always said it. We've always had those cliches as coaches that say all these things, right? But do we live them? Or do we just say them? That's the illusion. What real progress should feel like is that twofold. The real progress should feel comforting. You should be proud. You should have a charisma about you that, look where I came from, with the humility and the humbleness of, I still have a long way to climb. So there's gratitude in both. You can't just look backwards. If you only look backwards, that's the negative illusion. That's the illusion of progress. My apologies. If you only look backwards and down and where you came from, that's the illusion of progress, and that's the ego standing up and getting all arrogant and, look at me, chest all big and out and striding like a big old peacock. Wow, look at me, look at me. And if I only look up, then that's the illusion of negativity. And that's the illusion of, I ain't crap, and I can't ever be crap, and I'll never be crap, because look how far away. I can't even do this properly. How am I going to get that? You have to have both perspectives. And if you can have both perspectives, and you can have true perspective in here and understand, okay, I have come a long way and I've got a long way to go, and that's an okay place to be. That is the absolute perfect place to be. You're grateful for where you've come from, and you're humble for where you want to go. It's beautiful. So I want to invite you to sit and reflect and truly ask yourself, and you don't have to, it doesn't have to be magical. It doesn't have to be some big pyramidal grand gesture, right? I always tell you to start with small wins, but let's pick something that you have been working on, right? Whether it's love life, finance, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, career, honestly, it does not matter. Pick something that you've been working on, that you've been focusing on. Look where you've came from and really evaluate that. Doesn't matter how long you've been working on it. Could be 2 months, could be 3 years. Doesn't matter. How far have I come? Okay. Am I progressing? I don't care if it's minuscule. Am I? Okay. Where do I want to be? Ooh. Okay. So now I can have a true accountability of, okay, what I'm doing, is it enough? Am I currently stuck in the illusion of progress? Was there a time during this journey that I was progressing at a much faster rate to where I am not now? And if so, why? That's how you judge yourself, and it's black and white. It's not the illusion judgment. It's true pen and paper, black and white. This is where I was, this is where I am, this is where I want to be. This is the rate of progress. This is what helped me with the rate of progress. Am I still doing that work? If not, how easy is that to change because you've already done it before? And if so, great. Then what's my next step? What's the next step that I need to go to get to that next juncture, getting towards that goal? But I really want you to sit with that. I really want you to try to find something in your life that you've been working on and find those measurables. Make it black and white. No illusional gray area. Make it black and white. I promise you'll feel better about where you're at than if you just sit there in the chair and be like, oh my gosh, I've came so far. Look at me. I'm so great. Or the opposite. Oh my gosh, I'm so far away. No, that's not for me. I'm going to go this route now. The worst thing you can do is not dive all 10 toes in. To not fully dive in and find out whether something you're trying to do is for or not for you. You will never, ever, ever get past regret and looking back and saying, oh, could I have done that? You'll never know unless you do it. And you got to do it fully with your whole heart. And there's nothing wrong with not having success or it not being for you. All you did was learn, okay, that's not for me, but hey, these parts of this were very beneficial to me. I'm going to use those and I'm going to try to curve and go into a different direction and find what is for me. But if all you do is dip toes and step out and dip toes, 1 or 2 and dip out, you'll never get there. So find those measurables. Sit with yourself and really find it. Thank you for spending the time with me tonight. If this episode stirred anything in you, clarity, discomfort, recognition, let it sit. You don't have to solve or outrun it. Progress is not a straight line. I repeat, progress is not a straight linear line. It's a series of awakenings. Moments where we realize we're capable of more than the routine. And brave enough to admit it. It's very hard to admit it. Be brave. I know you can be. If you're in that space right now between who you've been and who you're becoming, you're not lost. You're evolving. You're in the right place because you're questioning. If you're curious, you're growing. And that tension you feel, it's not failure. It's potential. We're not here just to move. We're here to grow. Do not confuse movement with growth. They are two completely different things. One needs the other, but movement is not growth alone, and growth alone is not movement. Intentionally, honestly, and deeply growing. Be purposeful about your growth. You're worth it. You have it within you. Let that light shine. Oh, let those clouds clear and let that sun come out. You have it in you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I always appreciate the feedback that I get. Thank you for doing this work with me. It's not easy. It's very brave. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Be blessed. Hey, if this episode resonated with you in any way, I'd be very grateful if you subscribe or follow. It doesn't cost anything, and it genuinely helps me keep this work going so I can keep creating, keep growing, and keep showing up for you here. If you want to stay connected, you can find all my socials at links at CoreyJRiggs.com, CoreyJRiggs.com. All my links will be there, and you can find This Tree and Me on wherever you listen or watch your podcasts. I truly appreciate you and thank you for all your support. I appreciate you. I love you. Be blessed.